It was an important day for the family, the anniversary of her
You're just
husband's
being
company.
dramatic.
Dressed in a sharp suit with a smirk on his face, he laughed loudly at her. "A person like you has no place there," he said. She felt her heart tighten in her chest, but she fought to keep her emotions hidden. It felt as if a stone had settled in her soul. Holding back tears, she gave a quiet nod, pretending to agree with him. Her husband, completely oblivious to her distress, walked proudly out of the house to get ready for the celebration. She was left alone in the empty hallway, where every small sound seemed to echo. To distract herself, she went to a flower shop to buy a bouquet for his mistress. The path was familiar, but every step felt heavy, as if she were navigating a labyrinth with no exit. In the shop, she walked past all the vibrant arrangements, touching the petals, trying to focus on their beauty instead of the pain inside her. As she chose the flowers, she couldn't help but remember the years they had spent together, the moments of happiness and mutual support. It all felt so distant and foreign now. A bitter sense of betrayal and humiliation washed over her. But in that moment, something inside her began to shift. Every small gesture, every smile she offered the florist, every fleeting thought about the future, ignited a tiny spark of hope. As she put together a bouquet for the other woman, a new resolve was born within her, a determination to prove to herself that her worth was not defined by her husband's laughter or his choices. Returning home with the flowers, she found her husband's mistress in the living room. The woman, seemingly ignoring her presence, was chatting cheerfully, laughing and sharing her plans for the anniversary party. Her husband had his arm around her, openly displaying his affection. Every one of their movements felt like a blow to her pride, but she managed to remain calm, an outside observer to her own life. On closer inspection, however, she noticed that the mistress wasn't as confident as she appeared. Her hands trembled slightly. Her gaze often darted away, and her smile seemed forced. This observation gave the wife an unexpected feeling of control. She suddenly realized that the other woman's dazzling exterior was just a mask, hiding deep-seated anxiety and insecurity. Sitting in a corner of the room, she watched as the mistress tried to please her husband, carefully handing him a drink, fixing her hair, and laughing shyly. It would have been comical if it weren't so personally painful. In her mind, she began to play out scenarios, figuring out how to turn the situation to her advantage, not through scandals or confrontations, but through inner strength and confidence. It was then that a new strategy began to form. She wouldn't beg or demand his attention. She would become a woman impossible to ignore. That derisive laugh from her husband, which had once been a weapon of humiliation, now fueled her resolve. She understood it was time to show that true strength and dignity do not depend on anyone else's opinion or their smiles. At the party that evening, she was a completely different person. An elegant dress accentuated her figure, while her confident posture and serene smile immediately captured the attention of the other guests. Her husband was stunned. The woman he was used to seeing as meek and defeated now moved through the room like a queen, and the sight made his heart beat faster with a mixture of surprise and unease. Guests took notice of her grace and quiet charm. Every look, every smile, every light remark she made was a testament to her inner power. Her husband's mistress, by contrast, seemed nervous and stiff. Her attempts to get her lover's attention looked pathetic next to the wife's natural self-assurance. Internally, the wife savored the moment, feeling the power and control slowly shifting into her hands. Her husband tried to intervene, shooting her looks filled with astonishment and uncertainty. He suddenly realized that his laughter and his disdain no longer had any power over her. She had no intention of making a scene, of insulting anyone, or seeking revenge. Her weapon was quiet but insurmountable, self-respect and confidence. With every step she took across the hall, she could feel her influence growing. People began to see her as a strong, independent person, and that was far more important than any flowers or gifts. She understood that the real victory wasn't in exposing an affair, but in reclaiming her own dignity, a self-respect that no one could ever take from her again. A few days later, her husband tried to make amends. He called and came by with apologies, gifts, and promises to change. But she was already someone else. The tears and humiliation were in the past, replaced by an inner strength and confidence that now guided her every decision. She listened carefully to his words but took her time in responding, knowing that her life no longer hinged on his moods. She had found a new job that brought her joy and fulfillment. She took up new hobbies and made new friends who valued her for who she was and respected her boundaries. With each passing day, she felt herself becoming more independent and powerful. Her husband gradually understood that his attempts to manipulate her were useless. The mistress simply faded from his life, as there was no longer an audience to admire her position. The wife had become the center of her own destiny. One day, walking past her husband's old office building, she remembered the anniversary party and the pain she had felt. But now, it was just a memory of what she had to overcome to become stronger. She smiled at her reflection in the shop windows, realizing that true strength lies in self-respect, and true happiness is independent of other people's actions. The anniversary was a thing of the past. Her husband's laughter no longer held any power over her emotions. She had stepped into a new life, certain that no one and nothing could ever make her feel small or insignificant again. Every morning, she woke with a light heart, full of a freedom, pride, and quiet joy that no one could ever take away.